It's hard to understand the way that you went out. I bet you're living with a little hint of doubt. Maybe next time when you gotta show your hand, you won't cut and run, you'll finally make a stand. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Existential questions always get you down. All you want to know is are we lost or found? Is there something that you feel you need to chase? I bet you thought you put me in my place. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. You can run, you can hide, but inside, I'm finally getting to you. Yes, it's true. I still love you, but I am getting to you.
Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5,
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Oh, welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me doesn't know how live shows work, DK.
And me, fan.
Bringing you your weekly-ish double tap of all things Space Marines and laser tag. Just before we went live, I think my mics are blowing out. That's stupid. Just before we went live, yeah, we're just doing a little bit of casual bullying. It's great. It's a great way to start today's show.
You were doing some casual bullying. I was very supportive.
True.
Because
That
that's
actually,
just
that's
the kind
about
of
right.
person I am.
You were supportive of the bullying, yes. That's pretty much exactly.
Yeah, get
how
him,
it went,
Steve.
yeah.
Why am I catching strays from everybody? I haven't done fucking shit today.
See what happens when you put somebody like on the defense before you go live. Dan's like,
You're catching
yeah?
strays because normally it's me catching strays from everybody, so it's kind of nice to.
I thought we were
Spread it
having a
around.
perfectly civilized conversation about pinball economics, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, right, we're supposed to be doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, and then like your jerk ass friend. Yeah. Hi boys, nice to see you. You good?
So,
Is it though? Is it really?
It is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, casual bullying's an Anzac tradition. I don't like as a former. I'm gonna get deep for a second. As a former victim of like proper bullying, I don't know why I'm so mean to my friends. It's such a dick move.
because you were the victim of former bullying.
True. I gotta
Hurt
project.
people hurt people.
Hurt people hurt people. Exactly right.
Exactly right. Don't be a dick. Be a dude. Okay. Okay. Nicer.
GC as
Be a
the guy next
GC.
door says.
That's right. Did I tell you? So I've been doing my Devonport disc golf course here, right? Yeah. As soon as I get that off the ground, I'm gonna start a club. It's gonna be the Devonport Disc Golf Club, and the acronym will be double DGCs. That's gonna be us. Yeah, a bunch of overweight dude who are a bunch of GCs. So, hey DK, those shelves are nice. Look at those.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look at those. So I spent most of yesterday building that because we've now owned this place for going on, God, almost 6 years at this point. So I finally got around to getting some proper furniture instead of a folding table to put all of my shit on. And I thought it'd be nice to have a case for lasers, trophies, and minis I've painted and stuff like that.
Hell
so
yeah.
It's good. I would only need to build like 5 more if I had the number of trophies that Traj and Rusty had.
Dude, you know who's got an epic trophy case is Hoodlum. I went and stayed with him about this time last year, actually. We went to Melbourne for the first ever Laserforce Disc Golf Association tournament, the Dick Gold Memorial Cup. And so I stayed at his place, and his trophy cabinet is heaving. It's heaving with just sparkly trophy items. It's crazy. Hoodlum has a pool room. Didn't show me his pool room.
Are you sure he didn't show you his pool room?
Yeah, pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe it's not a pool room.
Is that a euphemism I don't know about?
Yeah.
I might believe that.
It's where I keep my pool cue.
Sex dungeon.
Is that where you play water sports? Is in the pool room?
Sex dungeon. Oh, see, I was thinking like billiards pool, not like.
Yeah, I was too, but
wet ass
the
pool.
best crack I could. It's the best crack I could get in.
It's good.
So
It's good.
what can we do?
DK, I'm just glad that you finally have bookcases in the background to match up with me and Steve-O.
Yeah, I was getting a little jealous of the setup too. I still have more aspirations for this room, but it's a start, and I only injured myself slightly putting those together. It's a good day.
They are IKEA bookshelves. It is just kind of a tradition to slightly injure yourself anytime you're putting together any type of IKEA item. So
yeah, well, because first I was putting them together and whatnot, and then I get to a step where you're supposed to anchor them to the wall because they're heavy ass bookshelves, and I was like, okay, oh, all right. So I'm looking around for the stuff. I'm like, they didn't give me any mounts or drywall screws or anything like that. I'm like, surely I must have some of that laying around someplace, but nope, couldn't find it anywhere in my cabinet. So I'm like, okay, maybe I don't really need it that much. The floor is perfectly level, the carpet's soft. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. And I get the bookshelf frame itself up, and no problem. It's sitting there fine. Then I put on the doors. That's fine. Then I open the doors, and it all starts pitching toward. I was like, oh shit! I'm like, okay,
wow.
So
this is how I go.
Yeah. So they won that back. There wasn't anything in it, so it's not like it's heavy, but it's not that heavy. So did that, closed up, and I'm like, okay, I need to go buy some drywall screws. So did that. Tried to make sure I didn't drill into a wire or something like that, because that would be bad. So I was glad I got a stud finder that had a wire detector.
Did you do the stud finder joke?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Beep 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 beep. Oh yeah. And then
yes, it does not beep at all. So that thing will fucking roast you if you just tried to do it as a party trick.
I was about to say, did Erica give you immense amounts of shit for doing the stud finder joke?
No, because it was kind of a joint effort on that one.
Yeah.
It's just the first thing that comes to mind.
It's gotta be done.
Yeah, but yeah, I finally got over my, I guess, renter's mentality where I'm like, can't do anything to the wall.
Yeah.
Drill a hole in the wall, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
it was like, what's the bit put some spackle on it, you throw some paint over it. If you don't like it, who cares? It's not that big a deal.
You fix that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but once anchored to the walls, those things aren't going anywhere now. So we're good on the front.
And yeah, I mean, to be fair, because I mean, you guys did rent that place for a fair amount of time before you got the opportunity to purchase it. Like,
it was about 5 years.
I can definitely understand it taking a little longer to get out of a rental mindset in that space because you had been renting it for so long. Do I think 6 years might be slightly excessive? Maybe, but at least I can understand it because that was how you were in that space to start with.
We've been here 12, and like we were kind of toying with the idea of buying this place, and same thing. Like I was like, even before like actually taking ownership, being like, oh, I mean, I'd want to do this, but I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Well, they look great, man. They look really cool. I can't wait to
Thanks.
see the rest of them going.
Yeah, we'll see if I end up needing more down the line, because I was like, well, I still want to have something for like the TV stand, because I have my old school Super Nintendo system that is out there. So, Steve likey.
I do like you.
So, yeah, you just see it over my shoulder there. Yep. No.
The mini
See,
one.
That's the modern version.
Yeah.
This is like a vintage from back in the day one.
It
is technically not my first Super Nintendo because that one burned out a while ago. But
what'd you do with it? You still got it?
The burned out one?
Yeah. Fuck.
No, I got rid of that one. But it was probably in my late 20s or something. And I was visiting home for Christmas.
As you do.
As I do. And then like my dad had gone to a retro game store and bought me a new Super Nintendo.
Cool.
I swear to God, I was way more excited as like a 29-year-old than I was as like an 8-year-old when I opened the first one. I was like, this is like the dopest thing ever.
Well, speaking of retro consoles, like I've been doing the stream over the last few weeks where I've been cataloging my video game collection on a website.
Nice.
Called, can't remember what it's called. It's catalog something. And
catalog your video games, maybe.
yeah, it's price charting. So it does like a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Well, I should be saying I've been cataloging Troy's video game collection that I'm holding on to. And you put in the game and then it tells you what its kind of price estimation is based on like eBay data and that sort of stuff. So
Nice.
I've done like a good chunk of the collection, and I'm up to about 13.5 or 14 grand or something. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But this week I was doing the stream. The PlayStation games here behind me were actually also gifted to me by friend of the community, Shanks. And so they're his games from his childhood. And one of the games, I opened one of the games, it was a copy of Doom. And so I opened it up, and inside there was like a folded up piece of paper, and written in like big black vivid was level codes. You guys will remember back in the day, like you couldn't save your game process, right? It would give you a level code once you cleared the level, so that when you come back to the game, you put level code in, it takes you direct to that level. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, this is so dope. Like, look, it's got a bunch of level codes. I flip it over, and the piece of paper was actually a form, and it was a hang on, I'm going to read exactly what the title is.
Oh, geez, I can't wait for this.
Because it really cracked me up. So this... I did actually talk to Shanks before I told the story, by the way. So this is the paper. Okay. It's got all the level codes written on the back, right?
Yeah.
On the correct side, I turned it over on stream, and I'm in the process of highlighting it because it was a moment ago. The very top it says notification of disciplinary hearing. And so on stream, I was like, oh fuck. So, and I had this for that stream. I've got a top-down camera. I had it under the top-down camera. Quickly whipped the paper away because I'm like, oh fuck, that's not good. And because it came from Shanks, I assumed that Shanks had got in trouble at a job. So I was reading through it.
I was assuming this was like school back in the day.
Oh no, this was from a workplace.
That's even better.
So I was reading the paper, trying to figure out what exactly it is, and like Gray happened to be on stream with me at the time, and he was like, "What does it say?" I was like, "Bro, I can't actually read this on stream." And he's like, "On a scale of like," someone's like, "On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it?" I was like, "It's probably a 9. It's right up there."
Oh shit.
So after the stream, I sent Shanks a message, and I was like, "Bro, do you have a brother? Because the name isn't Shanks' real name." And he was like, "That's real sus. Like, what the hell?" So I sent him a message, and I read the letter out to him, and basically, in a nutshell, I won't tell you the specifics, but in a nutshell, the person on the notification was summoned to a disciplinary hearing for basically telling his manager to fuck off. And threatening him with violence.
The first part of that I can get behind. The second part, ooh, that might be a bridge too far.
So
Is that not how you conduct business in New Zealand? Because I've seen Glengarry Glen Ross. I assume that's just how business works.
So I assumed like it was Shanks, and it didn't click at the time. But this notice was from 2005, and I didn't click because like Shanks is one of Frosty's like good friends, and obviously they're all like 10 years younger than I am. So in 2005 they hadn't entered the workforce, they were like 10.
Wait a minute.
So he was like, oh,
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But he was like, holy shit, that was my dad. And I was like, this is the best fucking story ever. And he was like, oh, he goes, I'm going to read this verbatim. He said, "That's my fucking dad. LMFAO, I always wondered how he lost that job. He never told me. I appreciate this lore insight. I'm going to have to call him." And
how do you just leave that paper flying around, and two, not notice what's on it? Just like, it's a nice paper to write my fucking doom codes on.
Dude, it's taking me so long to get to level 17. You give me a piece of paper.
I just need that.
Yeah. I said to him, holy shit, dude, that's incredible. I love how it just casually has Doom level codes written on the back. And he goes, I mean, paper is paper. Got to recycle, brother. Dude,
I was gonna say, because that's like the petty kind of shit I would have done as a kid. Would have been like to keep like my detention forms and like just write video goes on the back of it. That would be like my "fuck the police" version when I'm age 10 or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, it was so funny. But he had no idea, and obviously this has happened like 20 years ago, and like he was just like, this is the funniest shit, please, like, feel free to tell the story, just don't drop any names. And I was like, okay, sweet.
Which is fair, like,
Yeah.
Don't drop his dad's name, don't drop the company name. Just like, yeah, cool, totally fine.
So funny, dude.
But you don't
You
need
can
the
fuck
names.
off, mate, or I'll bash your head in with a hammer.
It was not far off that. You gotta start writing important memos on the back of your specialist reports. Oh, dude, it was so funny. Like, I finished the stream and I immediately sent like videos of the form to sent it to Shanks, and he lost his shit. It was so funny. And so they sent it to the Broforce, and oh my god, it was the funniest shit. And, like, finding little like bits of gold like that from your like past. It must be such a trip, but yeah, I
am,
I'll tell you guys
I am
the story.
100% stealing that story because it's fucking hilarious.
It's so good, dude.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I've in the process of highlighting that from the stream. If you want to go watch it, it was Wednesday stream. I'm gonna actually take it down after today. So if you want to watch it, or just wait until I put the highlight up. But I think the mark is like 2:38 or something in the stream. But yeah, it was one of the best things. It was so fucking funny. But yeah, anyway, I thought I would share that with you boys because yeah, it certainly made my day.
It's always very just heartwarming to get a real human insight on your parents when you come across something like that.
Yeah.
I am so glad that you waited to tell us that
Yeah.
story on stream.
Yeah.
So that you could get our reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in chat, like before the show, while he was casually bullying me, one of the things he dropped was, "I've got this great story from the stream Wednesday, but I'm not going to tell you guys now. I'm telling it to you on stream because I want your genuine reactions."
Dude, this is the advantage that we get from not ever being awake when Steve is streaming other days, so I don't get to see anything else that he does.
That's all right. It's mostly garbage, but that one was gold. I'm actually going to go take a closer look back through all of Troy's video games, just in case he's got something similar in his. Open up one. Super Nintendo's written some sort of death threat.
Show us Troy's Year 7 report card.
Be fucking funny. Yeah, you were in that stream, Tucker. It was pretty much near the end, so you would have gone to bed by then. But possibly Dad was a cop. Oh, you have some great shit. I'm definitely doing that. And then
That was Troy Gray's father on trial for police brutality. More news at 11.
And then I had to bury the body.
What?
Anyways, we do have some stuff to talk about, like a decently interesting topic today. Maybe not as interesting as that story. Yes. But I was gonna send you up, mate. So we'll get to the topic in a minute. I didn't play any lasers this week. I went to Slipknot instead. It was great. It was a great show.
Okay, valid.
Yeah.
on the list of acceptable reasons to miss going to members night, going to see Slipknot. Yeah,
it's up there.
That's on it.
They were great. I don't know if it must be public knowledge, but we did miss the intro to the new ownership group at Auckland Lasers. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame because I very much like to meet meet people when they take over.
Like start ingratiating yourself early.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna be best of friends. But hopefully,
you guys want some merch?
yeah. The old ownership didn't buy it. They really wanted to actually, but yeah, it just wasn't in the cards. But once I have more news on that, I will keep you guys in the loop. But yeah, I thought I would just tease it a little bit. But Than, how was your week of lasers?
I mean, yeah, I actually got to play a game this week, which was highly unexpected. Disco Autumn and some friends were driving through town to get to a convention where they were selling merch, and so, like 3:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday, I get a message from Autumn going, "Hey, we're going to be in Portland around this time. Do you want to meet? Do you want to meet for dinner?" I'm like, "Of course. Why wouldn't I want to see Autumn and Disco?" And then she goes, "Oh yeah, we got a couple of other people with us." Like, okay, that's fine. We can still go and do that. So,
I'm out.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, cool. So we go to dinner, and of course, it's like, well, there is a Laserforce like 15 minutes from where we're having dinner. Do we want to go play a game of lasers? And you know what Autumn and Disco's answer is always going to be.
They were already at lasers.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, why did we go to dinner? We could have just eaten at Lasers.
Yeah, get some.
No, because there's no decent food at that Lasers.
Yeah, DK.
So we ended up
I would
back
say it was
at
decent.
the
Yeah, neither.
at the
Vending machines food.
Beaverton Wonderland, the place where I had such problems last year.
Is that a strip club?
I mean, it sounds like one, doesn't it?
It's not the Minotaur, okay?
Yes. Definitely not.
I love how that reference is at the front of your mind at all times.
At all times.
At all times.
So
yeah, Beavertown. What?
Beavertown Wonderland.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Beavertown Wonderland.
Yeah.
Try the buffet.
And the major difference this time from last time was that I actually got to play this time. But it was still so poorly run.
Is this the one that you went to that time?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Than and I also went there together, so we did play there before. We played, what was it, like 3 or 4 games we were there?
Two or three. It wasn't that many. Doesn't matter.
Under 6. Did they know who you were this time?
No.
Oh, that's a real shame.
But to again, reiterate just how poorly run this facility is when it comes to their laser tag. So they run their games top and bottom of the hour only.
That's the stupidest thing.
It's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So we get there with 5 of us at like 7:27. This is important to the story, I promise. And we go to pay the nominal entry fee and get our get passes for tag, and they go, oh, we can't sell. We can't sell you into the 7:30 game because we can't sell less than 5 minutes before the game.
Why? That little bit of a sign that says, "Don't give us money." Like, I don't. Now, granted, I'm not the most business-minded person in the world, but I feel like that's a bad business strategy.
Well,
Yeah.
okay,
From
so
my stupid point of view.
so it gets worse in that particular regard. There was nobody in the 7:30 game. There was nobody in it, and the five of us were there, like buying, like we're handing them money. Like right at that moment, we could have just walked into the briefing room and they could have started the damn briefing video. No, you have to wait until the 8 o'clock game to play.
What's the cutoff? 5 minutes before.
Evidently.
Yeah. So we
That's so
saying,
funny.
fine, fuck it. We buy for the 8 o'clock game, and
Don't you know who we are?
well, and I'm thinking, like, okay, between between V-Disco and Autumn, like, that's 11,000 games. Like 11,000 plus, because both of them are 3,000 plus, and then I'm realistically at like 5 plus. It's like it's a lot of games. Like, okay, fine. And so we just kind of we go sit in the briefing room because, like, well, their arcade kind of sucks, whatever. On the bright side, their member terminals were working, so both Autumn and Disco were able to hit their card. It linked up, fine, cool. That was fine. So we wait 33 minutes for the briefing video to start, and now
It's like missing
Autumn
a
and I
bus.
Autumn and I are sitting kind of towards the edge of the briefing room, and I'm kind of turned so I'm not quite looking at the briefing video. It's the Loveland briefing video. Like,
Yep.
it's like we know pretty much everybody who is in that video. Like, Luke comes on screen, it's like, it's Luke. We're doing that sort of stuff.
Were they like,
And-
shh, you gotta listen.
Near enough, because I'm partially turned, the marshal standing at the entrance to the briefing room like calls across me like, if you're not watching the video, we can't let you play.
You've had to get a notice of a disciplinary before you go for a laser tag.
And so I'm kind of standing there. I'm like, I'm watching it. know most of the people in that video. I'm watching it. It's fine.
Start reciting it back to him.
Yeah, it's like, oh my fucking god. And so we get through the video and we, get walked back to the arena because the way the facility is laid out, like the briefing room is in front, the arena's in back. They're not directly connected. It's just the way the facility is laid out because the laser
because
tag
they're
obviously came
stupid.
later. The laser tag obviously came later, so okay, fine, whatever. And so we get into the armory, and they've got a 3-team game logged, which default log fine
For 5 people.
for 5
Mhm.
people. Yeah, and so I'm like, hey, can we get an individual game because there's 5 of us and 3 teams for 5 people. This is not really a good workable strategy. And the person running the game is like, man, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever run a game of laser tag. And it's like, okay, well, it's like, let me go get somebody that maybe knows. And like, okay, cool. And she goes.
If you have the touchpad, I can tell you how it works.
Oh, that's my favorite thing.
Well, and like she walks out, and both of them just go like, we could. I'm like, not doing it. We're not doing it.
Yeah.
And so
I just log a 60-minute game and go start playing.
so
They wouldn't even notice.
so she comes back with another staff member, and it's like, so what do you want to talk about? An individual. A what? A free for all? Oh my fucking god. And then he's looking and he's counting us. I'm like, there's 5 of us. Like, there's a whole reason I asked for this.
Hold on, you broke my train of thought. I gotta start over now.
He fucking logs a 5-team game.
Technically?
Look, that's yeah.
And so like it logs the 5-team game, and I'm like, you know what? This will work. It's fine. But are you fucking kidding me right now? So, now we all get logged in, we go and we play. We have a good time. Like, between me as a level 9, Disco and Autumn both as 6s, and these 2 newbies who have never played before, like, the game was pretty balanced. Everybody had a good time. The arena at this facility, I've said it before, I think DK said it also, like, the arena is actually really good, really playable, really fun. And like post game, both Disco and Autumn were like, yeah, that arena is actually really good. I'm like, which makes it just so much more disappointing that they don't know what the fuck they're doing with it. So yeah, so we got our 1 game of laser tag in when we could have gotten at least 2, possibly 3, maybe even 4 if you were running it like any other fucking sane operator would. And then it was like, yeah, we got our 1 game at 8 o'clock and we left. Whereas if they'd gotten us into the 7:30 game, we would have given them more money for an 8 o'clock game as well. Like,
It's so
like,
bad.
yeah, no, it was
Spare a thought for the 12-year-olds who are running this place and don't have the advantage of our many years of experience.
I love how vexing this place is for you. It's my favorite saga.
well, I mean, both of you are at times very painfully aware of my distinct hatred of incompetence.
Yeah,
I think
you get angry at me heaps.
Exactly. So yeah, I think both of you are probably more familiar with that aspect of me than pretty much anybody else in the community, just by virtue of having being on teams with me so often.
There might have been some disciplinary actions related to that in the past.
Pretty much.
100% Tugger. You should go out and fix this shit. Because then Tham would go and play on the regular, right? Like, if it wasn't so fucking,
janky,
dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, like I would genuinely make more of an effort to go play a little more often if it was actually being run in a way that didn't suck. Like, even if they were only running like standard games and color conquest, like, because I understand that that is their market, is standard games and the occasional color conquest. Like, I get it, it's fine. But if it was if it was being run competently, I would go every so often, even just to do that, just to get some games because just
run
because.
it like even if they just ran it like in 20-minute intervals, right? Like even that's like it's 50%
That would be a
more
50%
business.
increase. Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah. So
Drop the games
obviously
to 12 minutes and play 4 of them an hour. You fucking idiots.
obviously obviously from the net positive, like, was great to see Disco and Autumn, because it's been a while since I've seen both of them. It was good to get a game of tag, even if it was essentially a standard game.
It's still nice.
Yeah, it was still nice. It was fun, all that. But yeah, continuing to experience how poorly that facility is run from a tag perspective is constantly vexing to me. I mean,
I love it. It's stupid as shit.
It is. But yeah, so that was a thing, and that that kind of like made the week a little better because work continues to suck, but I rant about that enough, and you guys don't need to hear me rant about that more.
Well, we like I said, we actually.
Well, if you're looking for a new job, you can always apply for a manager position over at Wonderland, and somebody can get their shit together.
Dude, like if they brought you on as a GM, well, I mean they can't afford you.
They can.
No, I don't think so. I don't think their salary structure is competitive with Verizon.
Yeah, no, I know how much I'm making after the most recent raise and what that does to my bonuses and everything per year. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they can.
Yeah, but there's not laser tag at your corporate job, so whatever.
Yeah, but I make enough money that I can pay to play laser tag.
Fighting to get the guy near Wellington? What the hell does that mean? Fighting to get the guy near Wellington was so frustrating. Like Wellington, New Zealand?
No, I think that was the one that was down around Denver that had a cool arena, but the owner didn't want to do a damn thing. Tucker, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
Hey, people in English-speaking countries, maybe name your city as something other than the same 5 names that you put for every fucking city.
Stupid Brits. All right. Well, that was all amusing. Fuck, we got some excellent stories today.
In contrast to usual, we had some entertaining stories today.
Yeah, almost want to save the topic for another time, but we won't. We'll talk about it, and we'll just talk about it for however long we talk about it. So I had this idea, boys. Now,
Stand back.
I actually had a lot of ideas, but today I had this particular fleshed out idea. So a little while ago, I've been watching Squid Game on Netflix. First season was great. Second season was also on Netflix. And
so a pretty standard Netflix model then.
It was okay. It was all right, but it's kind of a half season, so whatever. But for anyone who hasn't seen it, the premise of the show was people compete in a series of kids games. And if they fail the game, they get eliminated. Now I got a Netflix sponsorship. Fuck, I'm waiting for that call. I can't wait for that call. I'm gonna be the next Adam Sandler and just make 1 billion movies for Netflix. All of them laser tag related. But we
good. That's an untapped genre right there.
Yeah. They're like, well, we would let you, but we only have them every half hour.
You almost got him.
I love when you guys take drinks, because anyway, so I had a thought
because you're actually naturally funny, and it fucks with both of us.
Sometimes.
Yeah, fuck you too, Steve.
I have my moments, but I had this idea a while back. I was like, we should. It would be cool to like do a podcast where we come up with like different. Like new Laserforce game modes, because back in the day I remember writing, essentially it was a D&D mod, but it was like Dragon Ball Z, because I was into Dragon Ball Z as a child,
As you do, yeah.
So we had written out a bunch of things and different like abilities and shit for the game, and I was like, oh, what would be cool is if we kind of discussed what would be some really cool new game modes for Laserforce. And one of the things I wrote down was Squid Game, or Squid Games, however you want to put it. But I'd sort of fleshed the idea out a little more, and instead of having it as its own individual game, I thought having a Laserforce Squid Games tournament would be a fun thing. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be Space Marines related, but I kind of started writing notes, and the more I wrote down, the more I was like, this is actually kind of cool. This is a cool idea. So I thought we'd sort of flesh some of that out today and talk about kind of what I had in mind and what you guys might build on top of that, and so on and so forth. So I wonder if a game like Challenge Mode might already be doing that. I don't know what that is.
My understanding is there is a game mode now that when you start the game, it actually toggles through games randomly every certain amount of time. So much like Killer Conquest, it'll just kind of like pause in the middle, it'll reassign things, and then you go on to a new game mode. Which sounds interesting.
That's cool.
Me, as long as like you understand stuff. I could be wrong on that, but that is what I've heard from my sources.
Yeah. Every 2 minutes you get a new rule set. That's pretty cool. I think I might have heard about this actually. This would work a little bit different. So the way that I kind of had it in my mind was you would run it as like a Squid Game tournament. And that tournament would probably be played over like a day. Like if you had a full, 10-hour day worth of games, and at the end of it you would have your Squid Game champion. You could look to make it longer, like like over a weekend, or like over a long weekend or a week or whatever. But maybe playing it over a day would be best. Easy enough to gather people for a day to do a day thing, right?
Yeah. Because you're gonna kill most of them anyway. Because if you die in laser tag, you die in
real life. Yeah.
Because this is a Squid Game.
This is a Squid Game. But the idea would be that over the course of the day, you would have a bunch of different types of game modes that you would play throughout the tournament, with the idea that as you proceed through the day, more and more people would get eliminated from the competition. So not necessarily every 2 minutes you get a new rule set. Whilst that is a cool idea, it would be like you'd play out a game for 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, and then you go on for the next one. Can you be the person that sits in the rafters and takes out the losers? Yes, you could. So a couple of game modes that I sort of wrote down. The first one was like something that I deemed time crunch, similar to a time warp, I guess. But the idea would be like it's a team game, like 4 aside. Maybe you have 4, 5, 6 different teams in there, depending on your player base. Teams battle to get to X number of points within time thresholds throughout the game. So by 2 minutes in, you have to accumulatively have like 10,000 points. If your team doesn't have that many points, you get eliminated from the game. You got to go out. And so the idea is that you need to meet these thresholds as you go through, to try and like stay in the game for the full 10 or 15 minutes. I thought that was kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like maybe you could meet the first ones like pretty easily by like getting your bases and all that.
Yeah.
But then like to get the next one, well, you're gonna have to shoot a shit ton of people.
Yeah.
So like, do you want to save your bases until you really need them?
Yeah.
We want to make sure you stay in longer. So yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
So the other thing as well is like, and the interesting dynamics of having this as a team game is that you could like gang up on a weak team, or or like if one team ends up getting ganged up on, like they're gonna obviously be eliminated, right?
Or you give them more targets.
True. But I had the thought process actually before we go into the games. You would have like this tournament is an individual tournament, so there's only going to be one winner. So before each game, and in Squid Game they do the same thing before each game. If it's a team game, you've got to quickly form into teams before you go in. And I guess like some of the themes of the show is like the strong, destroy the weak or whatever. So like when you're
yes, I'm aware of what social commentary consists of.
But like for these team games, like you get put onto, or you have to sort yourself into teams like quickly before the game starts, and then
that's what the randomizer's for.
Well, yeah, but like then you take away the like social aspect of it. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you could use the randomizer. You could make people do it before the game goes in, like all this kind of stuff. Are we talking about the second best game mode for pubs? What's that? What's the second best game mode for pubs?
Apparently, this challenge mode thing is.
Oh, okay. No, it's a different thing. Gabe,
you guys are watching the wrong show. This is not we tell the three hosts how little they know about how the game modes work show.
You're like, hey, old guy.
This is I want to listen to the host bullshit about games that don't exist.
It's the same. It doesn't sound like the same. It sounds like the game changes as you play it. This is a different thing. Okay.
This is a series of games.
Squid Games. So that was the first thing. I quite like that game mode. The next one I had was like a VIP. So again, another team game. Maybe it's 4-a-side, maybe it's 5-a-side, whatever. The idea is that teams have to protect their VIP. While at the same time they have to try and eliminate the other team's VIP.
That's just called Space Marines.
Yeah,
yeah, that's Space 5.
Yeah, but you everyone's, it's just laser tag. There's no special abilities or whatever. So it's like a much simplified version of Space Marines. Once your VIP dies, your entire team is eliminated. So. If you don't protect your VIP well enough, once they die, they've got like 10 lives or whatever, then your entire team is eliminated. Got to leave the arena. Again, last team standing or whatever.
And with that, you could also have similar point escalators as well, where if you're not meeting certain point thresholds as a team, then your team gets dropped out anyway, just to basically prevent.
I just explained that game. That was the first game.
No. Look,
it's challenge mode.
He means an ongoing thing.
Oh,
I mean, in this game that you're describing now with VIP,
yeah,
you have the same a similar sort of points escalator within the game, so that teams can't just bunker themselves into a corner.
I don't mind if they do that, because if the VIP's only got like, let's say 10 lives, the game's gonna run fairly quickly anyway. Maybe instead of that, it's like Fugitive, where if you don't make a hit on opposition,
it's on a timer.
On a timer. Instead of a points threshold, you do it on a timer threshold. Fugitive's a different game. Okay, Gabe.
See,
how do we time him out? I'm gonna time Gabe out now.
When you first described the topic, I think maybe I was kind of more along the lines of Gabe and thinking of like
existing games.
Okay, assuming if we had to play existing games, like in a kind of Squid Games format, like I was trying to think about what would be the right games to pick from and what would be like a logical order to play them.
Yeah, so we could do that as well.
Yeah, but like if there's new modes that you want to suggest, like I really like the point threshold thing.
Yeah. The other one that I had is kind of just basically taking straight from Squid Game is like red light, green light. I don't know if any laser tag has a similar kind of thing. And it wouldn't work in all mazes. I was thinking like Syracuse would be a really good arena for that, because it's single level. You could kind of have one person stand at one end of the arena and like do the red light green light thing. So if they see anyone moving, black, or if they see anyone, kind of like Gladiator, where they had the tennis ball shooter game thing.
Yeah.
The Assault, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That was like
That
the
was
best.
so
That was like
good.
the best game in that.
Yeah. So maybe something like that. So instead of it being red light, green light, where if you see someone moving, it's just, they turn around, they turn back, and if they see anyone that's not behind a wall or cover or anything, they try and tag them. And maybe they're either eliminated or they got to go back to the start, and like they've got a time period of like 10 minutes or whatever to get to a goal or something. I don't know. But yeah, like I kind of like those. It's that anytime laser tag do something that isn't like promoting playing laser tag, like for instance the game mode tag. I don't think it's a good game mode because it doesn't really promote running around and shooting people. It's more about trying not to get tagged, but it's not actually that. It's more about fucking around. But you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't promote laser tag as a game, so maybe that one wouldn't be super great. But
One thing I had thought of, this was when things like the beacons and radiation storm was first introduced, so it was becoming more possible to have things that are like more proximity based, and all that would be something that is like an objective control game where it's like you have to take control of like the beacons and bases around the field as a team, and it's like if time runs out, whoever controls the most objectives at the end is the winner, but you can steal them from the other team. But if any team ever controls all objectives at the same time, they automatically win, and it's like eliminating the other team. Like I never cool. I hadn't really like gone through the paces of exactly how the game would work, and I think this is something else that would need to be field specific. Like you would need to have areas where there are like beacons and things that are tucked away and more difficult to get spots, because it's like just to give you the Syracuse example, like it's too easy to tag like beacons up along the wall in a whole bunch of places. So it would need to be more like, okay, there's one that's wrapped around this corner. There's another one like on the ceiling that you have to get under. Yeah. So it's like it's more difficult to get control of the objective. So that would be something that would be maybe more difficult depending on the field, and you would need like the right number of players. Yeah. It's like if there are too few players for too many objectives, like no team will ever control them all, because it's too easy to leave them unguarded and somebody would get them. Yeah. So that was like the number I was trying to come up with, but I thought that would be like an interesting concept, just because that's typical to lots of like tower defense games or scenarios in like StarCraft, Warcraft, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So here's the thing I'm trying to figure out. For all the Laserforce does have, CTF and DM, which are obviously just direct rips from Quake and everything else. How the hell has Force not done a domination type game? Because that is also just a direct rip out of most first-person shooters. Like
that's basically what I was thinking. It's kind of in the same vein as CTF.
It's like how have we not gotten that game yet?
What would be cool?
I would have expected that game to exist very soon after beacons and stuff. Or hell, even at the same time that CTF came out, I think I made comments in Sacramento about there should be some type of domination game with this, because that's literally just another game mode that we could. How the fuck have we not gotten that game?
In a maze,
maybe Scorpion is having a difficult time figuring out the logistics the same way that I am. I don't know.
In a maze where you have like dynamic lighting as well, it would be really cool to see like when you control an area, that whole area is illuminated in the team color. Like that kind of stuff would be really awesome to see, and it would kind of make it more. It might force ownership, and it probably wouldn't, because a lot of owners are a little bit useless. But hopefully, it would drive them to better think about their like base and beacon placements. So in Auckland, for instance, we've got a hallway between the red base and the blue base, and that whole back wall. Between there's red base, and then there's three soup beacons up on the wall, all in a row, and then there's blue base, which is not great placement.
I recall at least like 3 or 4 of just the standard games I played the weekend before Nats, and it was basically just me and Marcus
Being that
fighting
hallway.
for control of that hallway,
Yep.
constantly trying to get the beacons.
Exactly.
Like, no, get out of here! I want the beacon again.
Yeah, and it's cool because you can get them from either corner, but like you can't see all the way down that corridor. So like you can have
But yeah,
bases
they're
like
too clustered.
Yeah,
they're
too
too clustered
clustered.
together, though. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool to do that kind of like color. Just that sort of stuff just adds to like how good a maze looks.
And I think that like deathmatch would be a good engine for that, because then if you get somebody who has a sufficient number of power ups, you can either like have them go out with an attacking tandem, where it's like, okay, you can control these 2 objectives by yourself because you have extra armor, you have rapid fire, and you got the power boost health thing, so you can probably take on 2 players if they come into this court.
Yeah. And so
you
what?
have to
Once
lock
you
this down when
control,
we go do stuff.
you control the beacon, it gives you the power up when you get it, or something, or.
I mean, it could be something like that. I hadn't decided if it was like, is this just going to be everybody has 1 shot power standard deactivation type thing, or will this be there are additional power ups you can get in the game? Because I was initially thinking, like Than was saying, that's sort of using this as like a CTF engine.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe something like that. Like you can only claim the power by dominating the beacon.
Yeah.
But somebody can steal it from you.
Or maybe you do it like a SM4 kind of mod where people do have specific abilities in a game. Maybe it's like, one player is a capturer, and their job is to capture the base. You have another one.
Oh, but they can only tag.
They can only tag the beacons. Yeah, and so you have to. And that might be the way.
There's your VIP. That's your VIP.
We
bridged the ideas. There we go. Okay, we got it. We got there.
But like, and that's how you have it, so that it's not easy to capture a base, and so therefore, like, you could potentially capture all of the bases at once if your team manages to shepherd your VIP like well enough or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Odin makes a good point. Make it so you have to missile the base to capture it, but only 1 person has missiles.
Yeah.
So it's like they can shoot people, because now that I think about it, it's like, if you're only be able to get beacons, that's kind of boring. But you have to missile it to get it.
And
maybe you have to missile it like 3 times. I don't know. Like make it hard.
Yeah. And like, and each of your teammates have like, because it would be, I've never played it, but it'd be like.
Apparently Malcolm likes this idea as well. So, yeah.
It'd be like, say, like Overwatch, right? Because like in Overwatch, don't people have like, I've never played it, but don't people have like special abilities and shit?
Yeah, it's like that though.
Yeah, it's definitely like Overwatch.
Yeah, or I mean, like League of Legends, or since that was based on a bunch of other things.
I've never played that either.
It's a basic type of game. It's like, it's domination, it's objective control.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of such games that exist in whether they're board games, video games, what have you.
Yeah. It's like Tony Hawk, where you have the paint and you've got to do a trick to capture that thing. Illusions, Michael. But yeah, that could be really cool, actually. But I guess if we were gonna do like a Squid Game thing, like what standard Laserforce games do you guys think would kind of match up well for that?
Well, I guess the kind of the initial question is at what point do you want to start knocking people out?
Yeah.
Because if you're running this as a tournament, you do want to let people get like a certain minimum number of games.
Yeah, you can't be knocked out of the first game and then, well, I guess I'm not playing the rest of the day.
Yeah, like, I mean, for whatever your tournament fee is, like the minimum number of games you get needs to make that fee worth it.
Maybe if you've got 50 players playing a single day tournament and everyone's paying $25 entry to play and you get knocked out in the first round, oh well. Tough shit. That's not a 25 New Zealand dollars. That's not a massive.
Oh, so not real money.
But like $10 US, right? You pay $10, you get, and you might get to play all day. You might only get to play 1 game. You might only get to play a portion of the first game before you get eliminated.
Like I was saying, kind of the way we used to do it in Sacramento back in the day, where we had individual comps, was it was like a double elim, and you would basically divide the field every game.
Right.
So you were guaranteed at least 2 games,
Yeah.
because if you get put in the loser's bracket, then you're in lower half in the next one, and you just keep like culling the field down until you get not. It doesn't have to go down to like one player, but it's like you get to the final game. Whoever wins that game
Is the winner. Yeah, that's right.
Because we did Highlander like that. We did Gladiator like that. We did Masters like that. Those were like the main individual comps we did. I think we might have done a Time Warp comp one time. That was really fun. Like I would definitely be in favor of including Time Warp, because Time Warp does have the interesting mechanic of like your enemies temporarily kind of become your friends once somebody activates Time Warp, and you go after them. Then I can remember one either like Late Night Lunacy or a Lock-In or something, where it was the two of it was like us and maybe it was Tav or one other person, and you had started doing Time Warp, but I think Tav had, knew that he had like more time remaining than you, so he immediately went into Time Warp, and you were both going after me, and I was like trying to chase you two around the entire arena because you couldn't shoot me. I'm just like, you fuckers come back, or you can't double drain me like that.
But at Beavertown Wonderland, they can't. No, I don't know. I was trying to make a dirty joke.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, yes, you can have it like that. I would say that like if you have like kind of the first three games almost be like seeding games. Like let's say you have like 20 people in this tournament just for giggles.
I would 100% start with Color Conquest as like the first game for like establishing rankings personally.
Right. It's I guess.
I don't know. I was thinking something like you could use like Dead Aim as one of the filtering games. Color Conquest as a filtering game. Okay, that also works, and maybe Time Warp. Maybe those three are your three filter games, because Color Conquest of those three is kind of the only one that's kind of a normal play right now. And so
Huntsman's quite a good one as well. I don't know if either of you have played that one.
That's similar to Dead Aim, though.
Similar, yeah.
Gabe,
it's got
it does fucking well not.
He just testing us today, eh? He wants to get timed out.
That banhammer is coming down quick.
Fuck all the way off.
Huntsman's quite a good one because it has a couple of like interesting mechanics. Like you can get the bases as many times as you want. But they have a cooldown once somebody destroys it, and you can't get the same one twice in a row. So like, yeah, there's some strategy to Huntsman. It's quite good.
but I'll be that as it. And although DK that wouldn't work because Smalley is a mod, so she would just always approve it for herself.
All right, Smalley, you're fired.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, but like, so Dead Aim or Huntsman, like, but like something accuracy based like that as one of the level set games.
Yeah.
Color Conquest as a level set game, that's cool. Time Warp as a level set game, and then once you've done your three level sets, just to again get everybody kind of a minimum amount of games for like I think the last game, like end state game, has to be Highlander.
Despite my disdain for the game of Highlander,
you don't like Highlander?
I've never really been a big fan of Highlander. Like there was maybe in kind of like the early 2000s I kind of enjoyed it, but overall, no, I just find that it's like, I don't know. It's weirdly stressful. It sets off my anxiety.
It's the most stressful game. And and you don't feel like you won it, you feel like you survived it, which is I guess kind of the feeling you want in a Squid Game tournament.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I'm saying. Final game in this tournament, it has to be high. Like that is what everything has been building to. It's building to a Highlander game with however many people in it. As far as like the step backs, I mean, it really does depend like how how long you want this to run, how many
Yeah.
games you want in it. Like, okay, so
let's just assume it's a 10-hour day, and you have 100 competitors. That's the numbers we'll work with. Yeah, is how you go about culling those numbers and how early you want to do it. I think being brutal off the get-go, like if with 100 people, you wouldn't put them all in at once. You would have.
Well, you can't.
No, yeah.
Let's
right,
imagine we could.
Okay, we'll say it's 20 people in a game at any one time, right? Then
we
you
build
can
a replica that is all the laser tag fields has ever played that are all stacked onto one another. You put in 100 people.
I'm just trying to imagine 100 people on like Gen 4 radios.
Don't we don't live in those times anymore. We don't need it. We don't need it. But like if you had that many people, you run 20 player games.
25.
20 player games.
25.
20 play. No wonder they
25.
get mad at you with that site.
See,
20...
both of you have the right rationale, but they're contradictory reasons with each other because you're like, I want an even number, and it's like, is it an even number of games or an even number of players?
Yes. But I mean, it doesn't really matter because, like, if you have it in a game where more than one person can get eliminated, more than half the player base can get eliminated in one game, then it doesn't matter too much. But the idea is that you want to cull the numbers pretty quickly, and I guess the idea is that you want to make it affordable enough that people are like, oh, well, I got to play our game and I got eliminated early, whatever. And if it's only over a day, then it's not like a Nats where you're traveling to a place, you've got to get accommodation and shit, and then, oh, well, I only got to play one game.
This is kind of purely hypothetical.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like this would be a sort of like a side event to another tournament. Okay, we're going to play a 3-day East Coast or 3-day West Coast, but we're going to have an extra day where we do this other
format. We're going to do
Squid Game. If you want to stay and play the extra day, you do that.
I like
people in WrestleMania. No.
Is that St. George's?
Yeah. St. George.
Even if you opened it to the upstairs, I think you still couldn't fit 100 people in there.
What arena do you guys think would be the ideal arena to have this in?
I mean, Brisbane's pretty much the only option that I can think of.
Syracuse is the top for me. I think Syracuse is kind of.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we were talking about whether or not you could have 100 players.
No.
Okay.
No. Just having this type of like tournament, and assuming that you only have a maximum of 20 players at any one time, or 25.
I mean, Q's is nice because it does give you kind of the most options for games that require like long runs and a symmetrical field.
Yeah.
And Q's is about the best you get for that. For anything that involves space control. So that does strike me as kind of ideal because you would prefer to have kind of like an elongated, more like a football,
like
pitch
an arena
type of field.
Yeah. Well, they're all arenas, but yeah.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. Oh well, 2026.
We can test it.
Yeah. Did you guys have any non-existing game modes that you think would kind of work in this format, or did I not give you enough time to think about those?
Option B, you definitely didn't give us enough time to.
I mean, I've had ideas for new game modes, but not necessarily one that would fit with this kind of format necessarily. But Odin mentioned earlier something like zombies, where you are actively like converting people to the enemy side as they kind of get eliminated in a game. That could be a way of extending some things out. I've always thought that zombies is actually kind of an underrated game. It's so rarely played. If you had a field exclusively of people who actually know how to play laser tag and who care about winning. Because most of the time, the reason the game kind of falls apart is because half people are Gen Pub, they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing, and nobody's taking it seriously. It's just a fuck around game. But like, we've maybe only played 1 or 2 zombies games, and this might have been like in the last days of LTC when we knew it was closing, and we decided to just like play almost all the game modes. But like actually like trying hard in zombies, it's actually a pretty fun, interesting game.
Well, same with Color Conquest, right? Like,
oh yeah, I love Color Conquest.
Same.
I think it's one of the best games in the catalog now.
If you play it with like with a serious mindset, not just gen pub, but if you go in there with strategy,
to do it too because of the score increase. The longer you go without being conquered, so it really gives you an incentive.
And not even just like the score, the score. What is it? Exponential score, I guess.
It's. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know what the math is. I just know that the longer you go without being conquered, the more points you score for tagging people.
Yeah, that gives you a trackable, like, I didn't get converted kind of goal, and that's become, anytime we play in Auckland, that's the goal. I want to go. I don't want to get converted. If I can last the entire game and not get converted, perfect.
Oh yeah, I only have that achievement in like 2 or 3 arenas, but like, I love that one. That's
it's so good. It forces you to utilize all the bases throughout the arena. It forces you to be accurate. It forces you to actually engage people. It's actually it's a really, really good game.
I played that game exactly once.
and
it was fun, but
like just as like a training tool too. Like we've talked about how to use other games to like build up player skills. One thing I think that's really good for Color Conquest is you start learning like awareness of the field relative to your teammates. Like, okay, I know I have 2 people over here. There's 2 enemies over here, but like the situation is dynamic. It can change.
Yeah.
But, like knowing how to play around the people on your team to maximize what angles you're covering, where you need to move, how you can move safely because you know more if your team is over there.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a lower stress environment than Space Marines, but you can utilize a lot of those skills. So that's why I would predict that players who have really good field awareness, I think, are usually tend to be very good Color Conquest players.
Yeah. Odin's said a Griff Ball style game with teams where whoever is it generates points over time for the team, but is in stealth missile mode, and you have to tag the it to claim it and generate points for your team. So kind of like
tag, but actually good.
Kind of like a King of the Hill style, right? Like that's kind of what that was. Like, I guess. Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
Malcolm does not agree with this particular game.
Malcolm is just very upset because he thinks it's wet food time, and he's not entirely wrong.
Bruh, damn, it's supposed to be done already.
Yeah, no, daylight savings definitely fucks with both my cats in terms of like when they're expecting to be fed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Griffball, I'm pretty sure that was a Halo mod.
Oh, okay, right.
At one point, right?
Right. Yes, Griffball was a Halo.
I honestly I didn't really play Halo, so I don't know what it was, but I'm pretty sure that's what that's a reference to.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I mean that's almost like
a
modified version of like Tag or that VIP game mode or like whatever, setting your cats off.
Yeah, no, he's Malcolm is being so vocal right now.
This house is a fucking prison.
He's like, Dad, you know I record my podcast at this time. Go fuck yourself.
Dad, I am so fucking hungry. Get up here and fucking feed me, you fucking asshole.
Planet bullshit! The galaxy at this sucks camel dicks!
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Like, and if you take it away from someone, right, as opposed to trying to give it to someone else. Yeah.
You know, they have drugs for that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to give it to someone else, okay?
There's laws against that.
Consensually. Yeah, so I like the idea of like a same day kind of tournament that is like brutal in the sense that if you don't play good, you're donezo. That's your tournament done. And if you had it like, I don't know.
I mean, that was how our Highlander tournaments were back in the day.
Yeah.
You might have got your 2 games. That was it. I mean, granted, we probably only had to play like 7 or 8 games for the entire tournament for it to be over. But even so, that was interesting.
But it could.
Didn't Lejeune win like 3 Highlander tournaments in a row or something at one point?
Something like that. But then he also got missiled once by Zeloth in the
shame
from the open sign, which was Zilloth's crowning moment of Laserforce glory back in the day. And
just imagine the worst laser tag player you can think of, Steve. Like the absolute worst Space Marines player you've ever played against in your life. Go about a level and a half below that.
Are they also a dick?
No.
Or were they nice? See, we had one of...
They were just very uber nerd. Probably had never talked to anybody outside of a comic book store.
I'm alright with that. It's when they're also shitty people.
Wasn't a shitty person. He was just very, very bad at tag, and now, I mean, still to this day, I give Jeff shit for getting missiled by him because I can.
Did he lose his mind?
Oh, it's it was one of those things where Jeff basically he just lost track of him.
Yeah,
he lost track of how many people were left in the game.
Yeah, but did he get shitty?
Dead.
Did he get shitty when he got killed out?
I don't even remember. I don't remember.
I'm trying. He was.
I feel like it might have been one of those moments where there was too much shock to even be mad. Just what just happened?
He wasn't shitty about it. It was just very, very much shock of did that just happen? Did I just get missiled by this guy?
We
although,
had that.
Many people, he could be a rage machine back in the day.
Yeah. We had
really
that.
mellowed out as time went on.
Exact scenario happened in our maze. We had a guy who played with us for a little while. Nice enough kid, but he was just not a good laser tag player, not a good Space Marines player. But he killed out one of the guys that were playing with us for a while. In a Highlander, and instead of being like, "Oh man, that's awesome, good shit," he went the other way with it. It was just like, "This is fucking bullshit." He was so mad about it. I was like, "Bro, it's Highlander. Who cares?" But yeah, I don't know. Some people care.
And Highlander is one of those games where you can sometimes just have really weird results because of situations that you suddenly find yourself in. We're like, "Oh wait, I am between two people and not in a fun way, and I have no shields left."
In a fun way.
Yeah, that's I think the other reason why it's never really been one of my favorite games, because I just feel like it's too easy to just get unlucky.
Right.
But to be honest, that's true of a lot of games.
Yeah.
It just, when the consequences are that dire, you could be out at any moment. So I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game by any stretch, and I understand why people like it. It's just if I had to my pick of games, it is not going to be in the top 5. But I agree, for this kind of format, the final game should be Highlander.
Yeah. This format, you know the end state. Now let's figure out what we need to do to get to the end state.
Yeah.
And I think it should be one of the either an untimed Highlander game.
Yeah, someone you have to have only one person. Yeah, definitely.
What I would like is a version of Highlander that basically cuts out. The other reason I don't like it is because there's the first half, which is all just super slow and all that, and then all of a sudden it just ramps up super quick.
Yeah,
I would almost rather Highlander be a shorter game, but it starts at the gathering, the super quick missiles, and you have to build your specials for reset really quick, otherwise you won't be able to do anything. It's it's so easy to go around first half of the game, get all your bases, sit on your specials, shoot some people, and then okay, now it's actually time to play.
But I like that about the game because essentially it can lull people into this
a false sense of security.
Yeah, because all of a sudden they're like, "Oh fuck, I just got missiled. What the fuck?" Because they didn't.
Yeah. Maybe I just think it would be better as a 7-minute game instead of 10.
Right. 10. You play 15.
Yeah,
buddy.
because
15.
Jesus. I don't actually know.
Yeah, because the speed up scaling is proportional to the game length. So
right.
Yeah, so a 7.5 minute game, you're definitely going to be moving faster a lot quicker.
Or if it's just you play a 10-minute game and the gathering comes quicker,
That's what she said.
Yeah. I almost wish it could be one of those things though that as you get to a smaller field, because again, like you'd said, you have to have some kind of mechanic in there that just prevents people from just, well, I don't want to move, and the other person is in here, they don't want to move either because we're both afraid to get missed.
Right.
But something forces them to move. Obviously you can't actually have the walls close in on people, but it's progressively like somehow closing off more of the arena so that the two
Gen 8.
remaining players are like boxed into like a smaller and smaller
So
area.
with Gen 8 you could do it, because if you have dynamic lighting and you have a reverse radiation storm, you essentially had the radiation storm move in from the outer areas, like a battle royale game like Fortnite, and it forces people into the center. If you get caught out in the radiation storm longer than 10 seconds, you're eliminated.
You're fucked.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And with dynamic lighting, you can light the areas of the maze, because radiation is hard to know where.
Yeah, because
you'd
want like a 15 to 30 second warning or something.
That's right. Yeah, and like it closes in. That'd be cool. That was one of the game
there
modes.
we go. This is another new thing. It just came out of nowhere.
Well, so I had a while back. I was like,
smoke weed, kid. It's great.
a while back, I was like, so Laserforce should capitalize and do a battle royale. This is something that we had talked about, and which is why I'm like, yeah, you use the radiation storm as the storm is enclosing, and it forces people into the area. But yeah, it would be cool to have that as kind of like a attack on for Highlander or whatever. But just even like a radiation storm feature.
I love it, like for Loveland, for it to be escalation, so it's like the first floor gradually gets closed
off.
Like
and Worms?
has to go onto the second. Yeah. And then it's like by the end, like only like the third floor is available.
That'd
like
be
the third floor
awesome.
of the ramps.
Yeah, like the floor is lava, essentially. Yeah.
Like it's literally like the pyramid is filling with lava, and if you don't kill the other person, you're gonna be down. You're gonna have to face each other.
I wonder
if you're just staring at each other across the third floor.
I wonder how you would visually show that. Like the like lights is easy if it's coming from the outside in, but having it like maybe you fill the entire place up with fog, and then like
no, fuck the fog machine. I hate the Loveland fog machine. Don't talk about that thing.
And then you use lasers.
Pretty sure I still have like fine glass particles in the inside of my lungs from breathing that in during nets.
I like that. So Odin said in chat, I think it'd be fun to do a triple event with 3 different one-day tournaments back to back, multiple chances for people, and if you want to rage out day 1, you don't have to play the other 2 tournaments. I like that. That's cool. It's a chance because you kind of want people to play, right? Maybe if you have a good number of different games, because the idea is before you go into a game, you randomize what the game's going to be, and so unless it's like a Highlander, because you kind of want that at the end or whatever.
Like maybe you have your opening game state, and you know it's going to close with Highlander, but like in the middle, basically, I think what would be cool is like if you had a list of games and
that it could possibly be.
And you throw the dice or whatever random number generator you want to use before the game to pick that game, but once it's on there, it's crossed off, so you know it's like, okay, well, the remaining game modes are this and this.
I do like, potentially if you have it, so if you've got some as team games and some as individual games, and in those team games where you have to choose teammates, maybe you have a couple of different, so like for instance, the ones that I said before,
God
like
damn it,
so if you have VIP or Time Crunch, as 2 like team games, as an example, you break into your teams, you go into the maze, and you don't know what the game's going to be until it starts, and there you've got to be able to change your game plan,
oh
like
my
that.
Fucking God, Malcolm.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because I mean, in general, like the best laser tag players are the best laser tag players.
Yeah.
But I could see situations where it's like, oh yeah, if I knew what the game mode was, I might choose my teammates slightly differently.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, if I don't know though, I want to go with people who are slightly more generalists. Because there are some very tip-top level players I know, but it's like they barely play anything else other than Space Marines.
Yeah.
They may not even really have a handle on the other games.
Yeah.
Which, probably in this scenario, we're imagining that everybody knows the games pretty decently.
Yeah,
that's
well, maybe no one knows. Like
wrinkle.
So, like with the show, like they don't tell the contestants what the game's going to be until they're in there, right? So that's the kind of thing you want to mimic.
So Scorpion, when you want to debut your new games, just wait till you get everybody down there for Nats, and we'll run this as a side event. I'm like, okay, it's going to be Squid Games for new game modes. We'll see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. But I know
that's what he does. That's what he does with the Brisbane players anyway.
But
you guys are gonna play this game now. Go for it.
Yeah, have fun. But really quick, sign this NDA. I really like it as a like tournament format. right? Like it would be a kind of a fun thing to do once a year or once every 6 months or whatever.
I think so.
And it's a cool, it's a cool way to have it so that people of all skill levels can come in and play some, some kind of event. Yeah,
which because if the intent is to make sure that it can be accessible for not just top tier players, like that's why you have a minimum number of games before you start kicking people out.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
That's
I love the brutal nature of it. I'm sorry, you played your one.
fair.
Get the fuck out. I mean, it might also
Part of this is living in a partly theoretical realm.
Yeah.
Part of this is also responding to the practicalities of how we would actually run this IRL. So.
yeah. But Laserforce corporate, feel free to take these ideas. Our commission isn't that much. We can discuss that off stream. Yeah, I think there's some cool things there. But if you guys want to continue the discussion, feel free to join the Discord, !Discord, and chat. Also coming soon, should we talk about the other thing? The thing Gabe's
Let's
working
talk
on?
about the other thing.
Okay, well, very quickly. So we discussed, sorry, and I should say Gabe and two. We discussed the other week about, moving away from Facebook. I got you too. Sorry, I missed you in the first instance. Moving our tournaments community away from Facebook.
Because fuck Facebook.
Yeah, I mean that's one reason, but also like the
And
youths.
just practically, fewer people are using it.
Yeah. It's just us old cats.
Regardless of whether or not you approve of Facebook's business practices, politics, whatever, it's just it's not the new shiny service anymore.
That's right.
So it's just the next evolution.
So Tu and Gabe are currently working on a Laserforce Tournaments Discord. This Discord will be hopefully the place where that whole community migrates to. Now, we've discussed in the past, like we obviously have our Resupply Discord. This will be a separate Discord server from that, purely for the community as a whole to engage with each other. We know we're not everyone's cup of tea. We
should be, but
No. We're an acquired taste.
Yeah,
if you're a person of culture and intelligence, you will obviously appreciate us.
I couldn't even say it with a straight face, so
But yeah, like this will be a page that's probably closer to the way that LF tournaments boards used to be, just without all the negativity, hopefully.
hopefully.
But the idea,
well, half the users won't be like 17 to 19-year-old kids, so it'll probably be a little bit more mature.
But the idea will be where each of the community, the individual Laserforce communities, can kind of operate under one big umbrella. So hopefully, and maybe we'll talk to Tu and or Gabe about this when things are closer to being launched, and we'll obviously promo the shit out of it here. Hopefully the rest of the community will get in behind it. But the way I think, from my understanding, is that potential. It's whenever we're ready. Do you have a link, or are we not there yet? We'll figure that out later. But
we'll figure it out offline.
The idea of this will be like, okay, well, so Auckland members night, like membership base, we'll put the specific Auckland members night page in there, and that's where we talk about how our members night went, and like if we're playing this week, if we're not, yada yada yada, and we'll have it set up so that you're not getting unnecessary notifications from places you don't live near, but you get a good temperature gauge of what the community as a whole is like, and kind of like up the pulse of our like wider community. And then from a zoomed out level, you'll see regional tournaments or local tournaments or international tournaments, and all the news will be in one place. So that's kind of the idea behind behind this Discord group, and we kind of want to keep it community. Like we don't want a supreme leader. It's not one person at the top. It's run by a shady organization.
Correct.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if some people on this podcast ended up as mods on the new players. But I mean,
Yeah.
that was equally true for like the Laserforce tournaments page as well. So probably like most people who are like committee reps or whatever, will probably be mods at least for like the tournament pages.
Yeah.
The Discord as a whole obviously will have a larger admin team, but yeah, it's not meant to be like any one person's IP. It is just meant to be like a broad community for everybody in the Laserforce scene.
As many broads as you want. Oh, that's not this page? Okay.
Very inclusive.
But I will assume, and once the page is ready to go, then hopefully we can start migrating people to it and get people maybe engaging with it more so than the Facebook groups. Because at this point, I don't know. I hate going on Facebook. It sucks. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we finish up?
I mean, just if I can plug our rival channel real quick. I know Mischief has put up some more stuff on the Loveland, whatever they're calling themselves. That is the Loveland YouTube page. You know who they are. Has put up actually quite a few interviews with players recently, but one that I really enjoyed listening to was just kind of an extended conversation in between Mischief and Fear Turkey about kind of their journey together in going through Laserforce tournaments pretty much since 2015. And it was really interesting for me to hear in particular, one, because I mean, I've known those guys pretty much since that time. So it's cool just, seeing them literally grow into adults since then, but also because I wasn't at every single tournament they're describing, but I was at a lot of them. And it's really just interesting to hear like what their perspective was on that tournament, that set of events from like just a very different viewpoint from how I experienced the event. Because by that point, it's like I had already been like a longtime veteran established person in the scene and thinking about like what their experience was as like new up and comers, and then like growing into experienced players and then eventual champions. It's just it's cool to hear that kind of stuff, because even though we might all kind of know each other's general history, it's like to actually do a deep dive on someone's perspective as they've gone through all these various events. I mean, that's why we love recap podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Right. And going back and revisiting old moments that we've gone over, like when you're mentioning Hoodlum's trophy shelf, or I was thinking about, my new trophy shelf that I built and stuff like that. Just like you could have a whole show where somebody just does a kind of like walkthrough, like, oh yeah, this was the year that this thing happened.
Yeah.
All kinds of things. But those would just be, long form stories. But I wanted to plug that because I thought it was cool.
That's rad. And I guess because like we're at the point now where, I don't know about you guys, but I really struggle to recount a lot of those early tournaments. Because, it's hard to remember shit from 20 odd years ago. So
it's funny how that happens.
it's cool to get like their perspective of, because to be fresher in their minds of how they kind of came into the scene and where they're at now.
I have very clear memories of things that probably didn't actually happen.
Me too.
At least they didn't happen that particular way, but that's how I remember them.
All right.
Brains are stupid.
I thoroughly enjoyed today. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast today. This is one that's been kind of like in the works for a little while, I guess.
Percolating.
Yeah. We should be back next week. Hopefully I'll be on Wednesday. I'm still going through my collection and slowly cataloging that, and hopefully we find some more hidden notes inside of game cases, because that was one of the best things ever.
I don't think you're going to be very hard pressed to ever find anything again that's going to top that.
Yeah,
like, that is some top tier.
Dude, the best thing about it was all recorded, so like I could periodically, like I watched it again later that night. I was like, this is
I want
crazy.
you to open up one of the games that you like haven't actually opened before. You just like saw the case, and inside there's one of those like promotional 100 free hours of AOL discs that are in there. Fuck.
Well, we don't have that, so.
But you're aware of the phenomenon, right?
Yeah. America.
You've seen American television. I'm sure that was a joke back in 2001.
Is that where you've got mail came from? You've got mail.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I understood that reference. So I'll be on Wednesday continuing with the catalog streams. Hopefully we have a Thunderdome this week, although stupid These Four Walls band is ruining our opportunity to play video games. Whatever. Then we'll be back, should be back next week with another riveting episode of the Resupply podcast. But for this...
I'm kind of on standby for next week. I will have to let you know then, because I have a potential... something that's percolating on Friday, but I'll let you know.
Ooh, okay. Well, yeah.
Yes, I'm going to be intentionally vague. I may or may not see you next week.
All right, well, for this week, I may or may not be Guy Next Door.
I've been Mysterious DK.
And I've been Fan.
Question mark is good. Always remember to backtrack, kids. We may or may not see you next week. Go get that.
I've been throwing daggers in the night. I've been chasing all the stars, stealing all their lights. The cut so sharp, cut so